Hello, my name is Zach Hoffman. My report is about Eddie Adams, the American photographer. He was born in 1933 and died in 2004 of Lou Gehrig disease. This is him pictured in Vietnam in the year 1966. When Eddie Adams was getting ready to pass away, he contacted Donald Winslow and told him he did not want his obituary to begin with Eddie Adams, the photographer best known for his iconic photograph Saigon Execution. Instead, he wanted to be known for more than just his 4-year coverage of Vietnam. He has a 50-year career and did not want that to be the defining photograph of his career. He was born in 1933, an entrepreneur who worked in a movie theater and came up with extra ideas to get money. He was obsessed with photography from an early age and purchased a camera for $25 on credit. This started his photographic interest and career as he learned photography through the high school newspaper. He joined the Marine Corps at 18 for combat camera, following the Marines wherever the action went. This was where he started his first photographic project, documenting the demilitarized zone between South and North Korea. In high school, he was a wedding and portrait photographer who also worked for the newspapers. He's received over 500 awards, shooting for numerous news outlets and shot for countless celebrities, such as Fidel Castro, Malcolm X, Richard Nixon, Mother Teresa, Egyptian presidents and ambassadors. The list goes on and on and on. Here is Ronald Reagan. This was part of the cover for Parade magazine. As you can see, Ronald Reagan is working out, and this is part of his article called The President's Personal Exercise Program, How to Stay Fit. The next year, he shot for Fidel Castro. Note the lighting that highlights the smoke in his face. He said that Fidel Castro was a likable guy, funny, witty, but because our government said that he was a bad person, you were supposed to hate him. He believed that was pure propaganda. Here's a photograph of Mother Teresa cradling an orphan baby with no arms. This is part of the Human Rights Leaders Project around the world. He was a special correspondent of the Associated Press at the time and wrote about Mother Teresa's work, her home, and her missions across the world. Later that year, she won the Nobel Peace Prize. This is Jackie Kennedy, who's receiving the flag after her husband's death. This was at JFK's funeral, and this was the flag that was on his coffin. Adams was obsessed with winning a Pulitzer and wanted to win it for this photograph, but was distraught when he learned that he wasn't even submitted to win for this photograph. Here's another celebrity photograph of Louis Armstrong, the famous jazz musician. He's getting ready for an opening night concert in Las Vegas. This is when Richard Nixon visited China. You have the Chinese honor guard that's in the drill and ceremony formation. This soldier here is looking away from all the other soldiers, questioning the defying government and the communist regime. Here is part of his work, Boat of No Smiles. These refugees were fleeing Vietnam in the 70s and were towed back out to sea by Thai Marines. He boarded the boat with them and has seen countless refugee camps and horrible scenes around the world. But this one moved him in such a profound way that he felt he had to do something about it. He said this was the first time he had seen no child smile anywhere in the world that he went. These 50 refugees were on a 30-foot fishing boat. Here is part of his work from India called The Untouchables. It is a low economic class of people, 160 million at that time, who were given low-end jobs, who were typically criminals, people with health issues, and others of that type. He documents the plight of poor and starving women and children around the world, connecting with the subject in an intimate way that the viewer can feel. Here's more Haitian children in their village. He said that he was deeply affected by the suffering of children, often talks about being emotionally moved when seeing them in war zones and refugee camps. He notes that In many of the photos he takes, he actually has to turn his head away to avoid crying. This is a part of the Speak Truth to Power project from Eddie Adams. This is documenting the Cambodian genocide. There are countless pictures of starving Cambodian children and dead children laying in the street that I did not feel right to include. This is in Vietnam, the year 1968. A lance corporal who's an enlisted rank is shaving in his trench. He's in a fortified fighting position. If you note the frame and the vantage point, you can see out where the North Vietnamese typically attack. He uses his helmet as a sink and a rear view mirror from a vehicle to see. He has his flak jacket on as he is prone to be attacked while standing there. Here's a woman and her child from the Saigon city. This was under siege from the North Vietnamese for 5 days, and thousands of civilians were killed and wounded. Here's another photo from Saigon. A North Vietnamese soldier lays dead on the ground as the civilians look down at him. Adams focused exclusively on hands and has a project devoted to it. Here are Marines in Vietnam walking to their bath. If you note the weapons they all have pistols, their rifles, and ammunition. When you take those away, it looks like they're just young college students on their way to the beach. This is one of Eddie Adams' favorite photographs. He is fleeing from sniper fire as U.S. Marines engage. He said that he was laying on the ground, and this is a powerful image due to the woman and her fear as she clutches her baby child to her chest. Here's his most well-known photograph, Saigon execution. The general here is executing a North Vietnamese prisoner who was responsible for the death of many police officers' families. He did not see anything wrong with this photograph, but saw it as only a normal act of war. This is reminiscent of Louis Hine and his work. This is a Vietnam veteran who was working in the coal mining industry back home in America. He received only $8 a day. This is a view of the World Trade Center being built. This is, again, reminiscent of Louis Hine and his work documenting the Empire State Building. The significance about Eddie Adams is that he's a self-taught photographer. He's not completely a social documentary photographer or a humanist photographer, but he's a photojournalist, a word that he did not like. He created an intimate level of war photojournalism, making the viewer actually connect with the subject being photographed. He's renowned for his celebrity work, but is only known for 4 years of coverage of Vietnam. He now has the Eddie Adam Workshop, sponsored by Nikon, that teaches future photojournalists how to be successful. His photos do not hang in a gallery or on a museum wall, have been featured in magazines and journals, shown in Congress, discussed by political leaders and the public themselves. His most famous quote is, "A photograph can change the world and move mountains," and is clearly evident when looking at his photos. Thank you.